and welcome to another night with Posse Presents. Tonight, my guest is Missy Lundeen. Thank you for joining me, Missy.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. I'm going to cover some of the personal stuff and some of the chit-chatty things that I have to cover, and then we're going to get into why Missy is here with me tonight. I want to start with a personal, special shout-out to a young lady who is my godson's older sister. Her name is Ashley, and I spent no small amount of time with her. She was a small little kid growing up, and hilariously, her and my Daisy were thick as thieves. And Ashley is graduating high school this week, which to me is just an incredible mark of how time flies. But she's a tremendous young lady. I'm very proud of her. She's down in Stanford. She's graduating from Stanford High. It's a big milestone. I love the family. Her mom, Jerry, her dad, Richard, they mean the world to me. My godson, Michael. Like I said, Ashley and Daisy were hilarious. It was the kind of thing where if Richard reprimanded Ashley, Daisy would get all in his business. I never forget the time that Daisy stole Ashley's snacks out of her diaper bag, and I yelled at her, and Ashley cried. But you know, these are the memories I have. And now the young lady is graduating from high school. I mean, where does it go, Missy? I'll never understand where it goes.
My son is graduating Tuesday.
Oh, really?
From high school.
Wow. So you kind of, I mean, more than even like my involvement, you're really feeling it too this week.
Yes.
It's amazing. But I just want to say, Ashley, I'm proud of you. Congratulations. Yay! I will be at your party this coming weekend, and I look forward to seeing you all and giving everybody hugs. And actually, someplace I'm going dogless.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
You're going to be lost.
I will be. I'll be very lost, but I'm looking forward to it. And, you know, on your graduation day, hold your head high because you have every reason to be proud. And congratulations. I love you, kid. Anyway, on to business. We're going to talk a little bit about the Waterbury Pound. Again, amazing amount of adoptions. We're getting dogs out of there. And unfortunately, it still leaves us in the red zone. It's just incredible. The dogs are coming in fast and furious. I can't thank everybody enough for the support. Getting those dogs out of there, getting them into foster homes, adoptions. It's just absolutely incredible once the machine starts to roll.
Yes.
How you really can save them.
Yes.
Kipper is still there. He got a reprieve this week. He was at the top of the list, and because enough dogs did roll, he got a reprieve. But he's still at the top of the list, folks. Him and Cassie, who is a love, and Bruiser, who's got some issues. He's food aggressive, but that doesn't make him a bad dog. You know, people have to analyze the situation. Who knows what he went through? Who knows how he was maybe, you know, teased and tortured and whatever else. He'll be best for a home very much with no other animals, because every other animal is going to be a threat for the food bowl. Someone who's got bully experience, because needless to say, he is a bully. But these three dogs, Kipper, Cassie, and Bruiser, are at the top of the list. And sadly, we're in that position where these dogs haven't been there that long, and they're at the top of the list, which goes to show you the turnover that's actually happening. I mean, you know, whereas you've got that poor dog still sitting in Bristol since January, you know. So really, folks, there's a lot of dogs out there, and they're in pretty urgent situations. They've either been sitting there for too long, or they're under time constraints. And I keep saying it, and I'm not going to stop. This is that season where the adoptions slow down, and people just need to be aware of that and understand that you're thinking about getting a dog for your family or for yourself, and you know, you want to wait until the end of summer. Don't do it, because this is that season where the adoptions drop off because people want to have their summers and their family time.
This is actually an excellent time to adopt.
Yeah, you're going to be home.
You're going to be home. You're going to be with the dog. You have more time to train because you're going to have more outside time.
Yeah, I mean, you would like to think the days are longer, you have more yard time, you know, tricks training, leash walking, all that stuff. But people, I think, get caught up in vacations and weekends away. You know, suck it up, find someone to take care of the dog for you, board it. Yeah, it costs a little bit of money, but honest to God, you're saving a life. I mean,
Yeah.
do what you've got to do to add to your family now, because last year there were 2 like consecutive weeks in Waterbury where 10 dogs went down just because there was no space. That's 20 dogs, and that was like towards the end of the summer. And that was just so painful because it hadn't picked up yet. Folks, let's not do it. Let's not do it to any of these pounds. Let's not do it to any of these shelters. Let's get the dogs out of there. Let's save some lives. Even Bonnie and Clyde are still out there. Can you believe it, in a shelter? If you remember Bonnie and Clyde, and I'm sure you do because you travel on Facebook in the same circles that I do. We've really got to do something for them. They're an older, bonded pair. I mean, all they want is some space on your couch. For the love of God, give it to them. And
Just because they're older does not mean that they don't have a lot of life left in them.
no, and you know, people think that, you know, an older dog is going to have health problems, and it's not necessarily true. It really isn't. You know, they're gonna suffer more for being in a pound than and end up with more health problems there than home and your couch. I mean, really. Come on, people, save some animals. And I just got to add one last thing because I think she's watching. Allison Leo was driving on Route 8 and there was a dog somebody must have thrown out of the car on the side of the road. And she called me. She was crying. She's like, I don't know what to do. I swear the dog was alive. Well, the dog was alive. The state troopers went out there. It ended up at the pound. And Allison networked that dog into a foster home, and she's got her for the weekend. Because, you know, she needed to have a piece of the dog. And, of course, what's the dog's name? Freeway. You gotta love it. I'm sorry. You just gotta love it. But, you know, she was a little injured. She was petrified. She was just plastered to the Jersey barrier.
That's so sad.
Yeah,
People are really sick. I'm sorry.
It's amazing. Now, if you all remember last week, if you were paying attention, I mentioned a bully breed walk that is going to be held in July on the 14th.
July 14th, Saturday.
And it's a Saturday. And Missy is the young lady who thought this up. So tell me, what gave you the idea to have a bully breed walk? Why?
I personally own 2 bully breed mixes. I have a shepherd pit, and I have a newly rescued, well, she's not newly rescued, she's a year old now, but she is a black lab pit mix.
That's a common mix.
Yes.
A lab pit mix is pretty,
Yes.
it's like, it seems like
the black
somehow.
lab with the white chest, the little speckles and everything. She's
And the pitty head,
adorable.
right?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Unless if she gets curious, her ears flap forward, so then she looks like a lab. But when she does something bad,
They go back.
the ears go back, and
And she looks like a little pitty done wrong.
I'm so guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I've always done rescues. Always. I've never purchased an animal from a pet store. Never.
Never a breeder.
Never purchased from a breeder, because there are so many animals that are out in the shelters that so desperately need a home. And my little Kobe, who is turning a year on the 29th of this month, yay!
That's Ashley's birthday, yay!
She actually came from a shelter out of the state of Connecticut. We had adopted her when she was 8 weeks old.
Wow.
And the day that we adopted her, the next day was her euthanasia day.
Oh, wow.
So, and she came to us extremely ill. She had parvo, and
Oh,
she had
boy.
everything that you can possibly imagine wrong with her. And she cost us a good chunk of change,
Oh,
a
yeah.
little over $5,000. But once you commit to an animal, you need to commit to the animal for life.
Oh, yeah,
It's
absolutely.
Not just
it's
because
not,
you get the
yeah.
dog and it's sick, you're not going to throw it out.
Well, unfortunately, you know, that's one of the problems we see in Waterbury. A lot of these dogs are getting picked up sick.
All over the
And
place.
it's everywhere. And I just have to interject, Waterbury did have a dog with parvo this week, and instead of putting it down, it's at the vet.
Good.
So
I saw that on Facebook. I think I saw
check
that
out
on Facebook.
check out my Facebook page, and you'll see who I'm talking about. It's a big, huge step, not to just put them down.
Yeah.
So anyway,
it's a very scary process.
It
It's
is
very scary, but my personal belief is that if you have a child and your child becomes ill, you're not going to bring the child to the doctor or back to the hospital and say, oh, I'm sorry, this one's sick, I need a new one.
right, yeah, no, you don't, it's a commitment. Just like having a child,
It is a
if
commitment.
you love your animals, it's a commitment. So just like getting married, just like being in any relationship,
Yes.
it's, through thick and thin, and, an animal is no different. So,
So I have 2 pit mixes, and always seeing on the news, it's always negative, negative, negative. Oh, there's, this pit bull attacked this person, or this pit bull attacked this animal, or, oh, it looks so mean, oh, and the shelters are just so full of, most of them are pit mixes.
yeah, they are.
And people are so afraid of them because of what the media has done to this breed.
Yeah. I mean, you see some of these pictures on Facebook of like a pit bull cuddling with a baby deer and snuggled up with
Yeah,
cats.
I saw that, yeah.
And that's not what the media covers. The media covers
The negative.
the negative, and they never have, from what I've my experience, they never have like the real stories.
No.
They
no.
have the sensationalized
there's
version.
this side of the story, then there's this side, and then
And there's the truth. Exactly.
So, and they unfortunately just kind of jump over the truth.
Yeah.
And they blow up something that is really nothing.
Yeah, they're fed bits and pieces of information, and they try to sensationalize it, and they don't have the whole story. It's time after time, they really don't.
Right.
Journalism is just, I'm sorry,
It's
not all
rough.
it's cracked up to be.
It's
Yeah.
rough. So the purpose of the Bully Breed Walk is for the public to be able to bring their bully breeds, whether it's a purebred bully breed or if it's a pit mix or a Staffordshire mix, whatever. And it's to get together all the responsible owners. Responsible.
Yes.
Not the irresponsible owners, but we want the responsible owners who have their dogs trained properly, where their dogs are not aggressive, where they're spayed and neutered. And it's to get everybody together and enjoy the animal and enjoy the breeds. And we're just gonna walk. It's a simple dog walk. We're going to be at Bushnell Park in Hartford. We will be gathering at the Memorial Arch, because I figured that is like one of the biggest things. You can't miss it, so you're not going to be able to miss all these dogs.
Yeah, if you could miss the arch, you wouldn't miss the dogs, I'm sure.
Yes. And I'm opening it up to anybody who is a responsible dog owner, whether it's a Chihuahua, whether it's a Great Dane, or whether it's a combination of both, which would be really odd.
Painful to think of. Painful to think of, sorry.
But I'm also opening it up to rescuers. I'm opening it up to foster moms and dads who are fostering their dogs. And I'm opening it up to the animal shelters for the ACOs to maybe gather some volunteers and bring their dogs that are adoptable out.
That would be fabulous. And of course, the problem with that is most of the pounds don't let their dogs out to events. But, if there are some out there, that would be a great way to showcase some of these animals and move them.
Right.
Now, what you're saying that people can bring their dogs. What are your requirements, or are you going to have any for proof of vaccinations or anything like that? Because sometimes that's a question when you're trying to do a big scale event.
Unfortunately, it's kind of difficult for everybody to carry around, their file on their dogs.
Mojo's rabies certificate, always in my bag.
I mean, most times they do have their collars on, which they should have their jewelry, which I call it.
Yeah.
So, as long as they have that on, the dogs must be on a leash. I'm kind of asking that retractable leashes not
That was
be
my
used,
next question.
because not only is it a potential danger for the dogs, but it's potential danger for people as well, because should their dogs go, oh, there's a squirrel, I'm going to go over there, and they wrap around somebody's leg, it's very easy for you to get a laceration.
You haven't lived until you've had rope burn
Yes.
from a retractable leash.
My oldest son actually has scars on the back of his knees from a retractable leash, so I don't use those anymore.
Yeah, they can be pretty brutal.
Oh, excuse me.
I think we all have those horror stories.
Yes, yes.
Where the people, wait, I'm sorry, the people who try to grab it as it's
Oh yeah.
unwinding and the mark on their hand. Yeah, it's great.
Don't do that.
No,
That's
yeah.
bad.
How not to use a retractable
I know,
leash.
right? You should do a class on that.
Yeah, right?
Dogs should be
A column.
spayed or neutered. They really should, because that shows responsibility out of the owner's part.
Sure.
We don't want backyard breeders. We don't, I don't mind breeders per se, as long as they're following, the strict guidelines that they should be.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about, it's not about, oh, this dog is cute and this dog is cute and let's see what their puppies would look like. Folks, that's not responsible breeding.
No.
It's responsible breeding is
That's like breeding a Great Dane and a Chihuahua.
Yeah.
That's not good.
responsible
good's gonna
breeding
come out of
is
that.
health checks and making sure they're free and clear of genetic problems and hereditary issues and things
Right.
that can be passed on. Just to clarify,
Right.
because I don't think we've done that in past shows, and we've talked about responsible breeding and just
Well, another
throwing that
thing
out there.
too is that if they're not spayed and neutered, dogs can show aggression.
Yeah.
Especially if a female dog is in heat and you have 2 male dogs or 3 male dogs that are like woohoo.
Yeah.
And now they're going to battle each other over this female dog.
Yeah.
We don't want that. We want to show the positive side of things, not the negative.
Absolutely.
So spaying and neutering your animal, that should be a given when you get your dog. If you do have a dog that does tend to show some type of aggressiveness, you should have a red bandana around the dog.
Okay.
So that
So
way,
everybody knows to stay
so
away.
that way we know, okay, you need your space.
Very good idea.
It gives the dog who might have some aggressive tendencies the space to stay away from other dogs. And it's not so much that they're showing aggression, being mean. They might not be socialized very well.
Right. It could
And
be
it could
be a
be
good
fear.
learning process to put a dog in a controlled environment.
Right.
And then it would be up to the owner to be responsible about the handling of that dog, as well as everybody else's awareness that if it's a red bandana, don't let your dog just get all up in that dog's
Right.
face, because too
Right.
many people do that too.
Yeah.
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 It's not smart, folks. Take it slow when you're trying to introduce dogs and
Right. So if you have a puppy that's, puppies are usually a little bit more, get up and go and, a little hyper, and you might have, say, an elderly dog who doesn't really like, a little puppy getting all up in its face. Just put a red bandana around your dog. Gives us an idea and just says, okay, that dog needs its space,
Yeah.
and we will accommodate for that.
That's actually a great idea, and something that, I don't know where you got that from, but that's something that people should probably take note of and use that sort of as a formula when they are having events. And I'm sure a lot of unexpected scuffles could be avoided that way.
Yes. Obviously, you must pick up after your dog.
Yeah.
We are in a public park. I'm sure that other people will have their pets there that aren't participating in our walk. But you still need to be mindful of everything. Pick up after your dog, please, because you don't know what is there, and you don't want to step in it yourself.
No.
Not a lot
You don't
of
want
people
your
are,
dog stepping in it either.
Not a lot of people are going to, want to be stepping in that either. We do have to stay on the sidewalks. Because it is a public park, we are going to be opposite the side of the carousel. Excuse me, I have a cough. So we do have to mind the, and stay on the sidewalk and watch for bikers and runners and everything else.
And that's another thing people need to understand when they have their dogs at this event. A runner going by, a bike going by, hold on a little extra tight, because that's that whole prey thing.
Yes.
And, you know, just like if a lot of these kids get bit because they're running past the dog, and it's nothing more than prey. That's how they ended up chasing cats and everything. If it runs, the dog wants to chase it. So if you're going to attend, be aware that, you know, just because you see somebody running towards you, past you, near you, hold on a little tighter and don't get taken by surprise.
Right. And if you're going to bring doggy treats, kind of make sure that you know where your doggy treats are and that you're only giving them to your dog, because you don't know what kind of diet some of these other dogs are on. You don't know if food allergies, and you don't want the food aggression to start a fight.
Right, exactly. Very good point.
Oh, excuse me.
So, you said you're going to be walking on the sidewalk, you're meeting at the arch. What do you hope would be the outcome of getting everybody together and having this walk? How, you know, what are you hoping that will come of it?
I am hoping that the people who witness what is going on will see the true beauty that comes through these animals and the things that they can do for other people. And hopefully bring awareness to the fact that there are so many of these dogs in serious need of homes. You know, either foster, rescue, save a life, don't buy,
Yeah.
don't purchase.
Yeah.
So,
So many dogs are in the pounds, and they really do need homes. They need to be saved. And if you've ever been leery about pit bulls or the other bully breeds, this is a perfect opportunity to come out and meet some of them, and perhaps even meet some ones that are looking for homes. You know, there's some pretty clear guidelines set out for anybody who wants to attend. What time are you meeting at the Arch?
we are meeting at 11 o'clock. The walk starts at 11, and we're going until about 2.
Okay.
It should give us enough time to make a good circle around the Capitol. I'm hoping to have some press there for positive reinforcements.
Yeah. That would be
So,
cool.
Yes. Anybody who is interested, I have a Facebook page set up. It's facebook.com/groups/bullybreedwalk. And you can contact me at Missy in CT, it's MISSYINCT @gmail.com, and my cell number is 203-751-4274.
Okay, why don't you run by your email and your phone number one more time?
Okay, email is Missy in CT, so it looks like Missy in Connecticut. It's MISSYINCT @gmail.com. And the phone number is 203-751-4274.
Okay, and there'll also be links on my Pound Posse Presents page, where you can find out, you know, anything you need to know, how to get in touch with Missy. That will be all set up there. And as we're sort of winding down the last few minutes, there was a meeting in Waterbury this week. The alderman had this bully breed legislation meeting, and it was Monday, I believe it was.
Yes.
And you told me that you attended.
Yes, I was very curious about it. I wanted to know exactly what was going on up in Waterbury. Even though I'm not from Waterbury, I was still curious, because things that happen in one city can be passed on to another.
Absolutely. And you kind of gave me the impression that it didn't go far.
No.
What Missy had told me, because, oops, there goes my notes. I might as well throw yours too, right? Missy told me that it seemed that people were just kind of like very full of wanting their, you can't even say 15 minutes of fame, because I think you get like 3 minutes at an alderman meeting.
It was a total of 5 minutes.
Okay. So 5 minutes of fame, people just felt the need to get up there and repeat themselves?
Over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, the one meeting that I attended here in Waterbury, it was tedious because people just don't seem to have a point. So I think that the people who didn't have the point kind of took away from anybody trying to make a point. from what you said.
It was supposed to be a leash law and how to find people who do not keep their dogs on leashes. And it turned into this, which was actually very nice, these people who stepped up and said, I have no problem against pit bulls. We have a problem against irresponsible owners.
Yeah, you know, people don't seem to realize it boils down time and time again to the people at the other end of the leash. It's not always the dogs. You know, the things that I read about this meeting was that they were looking for, you know, double leash walking, which means a collar and a harness. And if you've got a bully breed, you've got to have a double gated entry into your yard and all this craziness. But clearly there were people who got up and if they weren't rambling, they were supporting the pit bulls from what you're saying.
They were supporting the pit bulls, which was great.
Yeah, that had to be good. Something I would have liked to have attended, but you know, sometimes life gets in the way. So it's nice to get the perspective of someone who, you know, clearly has a like mind on that type of thing. We will definitely keep track of that and see what progress they do or don't make, and perhaps I'll even get to go to one of the next ones if they have any more. But
And nothing was concluded at that meeting.
yeah, no, that's the beauty of these things. I mean, they invite people, and I'm sure if people had gotten up and ranted and raved and hated on pit bulls, they may have done something quicker, stronger, whatever. But you know, in the way, I'm sure they were just kind of taking it in to see where the people stood.
Yeah.
But you know, again, this all comes from the attack in town here not too long ago, and the subsequent attacks after that. But I don't see legislation like that as being the answer. And
No.
There's my credits, so that's saying that we're towards the end. We're gonna do, let's do it. Can you do it with me? Peace, love, and dogs.